Hello, everybody. So today I'm super excited and matchy to talk to the unreal Leonie Dawson.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Sharon. It's so
We just
lovely to
had a
be
little
here.
quick, a little quick chat just before I started recording. So we've just discovered that we are matchy with our little rainbow blankies, which is amazing. So I am, I'm going to say it, I'm like full fangirling now, like, yeah, okay, to be talking to you. So, but what I love is that us creative people can really just get together and brainstorm ideas. And
Totally.
that's what I want to talk about today, is having sustainable and profitable creative businesses. And that's you. So, so I'm just going to do a little quick intro and then I'll let you kind of introduce yourself because I don't know how good I'll do it, but we'll see. So Leonie has written the Create Your Shining Year workbook for the last 10 years, life and business, which I have been involved in for probably 8 years and I love it. She is a multi-million dollar revenue maker while working part-time, erotic novella writer, e-course creator, and mum and wife, and I don't know, probably 1,000 other things mixed into all of that. So welcome, Leonie.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think you do a way better job at introducing myself than I do. Like, I don't know if you saw, like a couple of weeks ago, I shared where somebody online asked me what I did, and like I just shared the comments that I wrote to try to respond to that. And I mean, I have clearly not nailed my elevator pitch. I was like, I teach hamsters how to do basket weaving,
Oh, yeah,
and I
I
write
saw that.
alien erotica, like anything that would ever use me, but I will not actually say what I will do. And then I'll just have fun. I'll turn up and have fun and
Yeah.
create a popular business even without having an elevator pitch.
Yeah, good. And that's awesome. I love that too, because I do find it really hard to talk about what I do as well. So, yeah, it's good. But if you know what you do, then that's the main thing. So it's
Yeah,
quite cool.
if people want to have more fun and make more money, then they should hang out with me. And if not, like if they don't want to do that, then probably not. Don't hang out with me.
Yeah, exactly. And you're a pretty cool person to hang out with. So even, in some of the courses that I've done and, the Get Shit Done Club, you talk, but everybody else is muted. And I sit there like laughing my head off at some of the things, because I've got my little headphones in and I'm at home, because it's on at like 6:30 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and my partner will be going, "Who are you listening to?" And I'm like, don't worry.
It's hard to explain, right?
Yeah.
We have fun. We have a lot of fun, don't we?
And I laugh. Sometimes I just laugh a bit too much and I have to like turn my little video thing off because I think, they probably think I'm a bloody wacko, but I'm sure everybody else is in the same boat. So.
Everybody is, and I don't like, my running joke is like, but I wasn't trying to be funny. I don't understand what people are laughing at. I'm trying to be a serious businesswoman here.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's fucking hilarious, and I'm jam. I'm very fun with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing, like for me, is to see you just being you. So you're not trying to be, like this, I can make you blah. And I couldn't even tell you how many of those people I just go, be quiet, please. But you just show up, you are who you are, and you say to people, this is me, and I don't really give a shit. And that's what I love, because I think you connect with people on that level. So, and while I don't swear, I do swear, but not online, but you do, and it makes me laugh, and I kind of go, I kind of wish I could do that, but my mum's always listening, so.
That's really funny. Yeah, I made a decision really early on in life that, like, I remember having the actual cognitive discussion with myself when I was about 13 or so, And I just realized that everyone was trying to be somebody they weren't in
Yeah.
order to be liked. And then even when they are that, like even when they managed to actually get people to like them, they were still afraid because they were afraid of being found out for not being that person. And I
Yeah.
felt, well, that's not really fun. I could just be me and be, bonkers and have a glorious time of it,
Yeah.
and I'll be happy. And like that's all we're aiming for here, is just to be happy. So like
Yeah.
that seems like the shortcut option. I really enjoy being myself. I have a lot of fun that way. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. And like, I kind of feel like, in my little journey, and this is why I'm kind of excited to talk to you today, because, you're kind of fed this crap, when you're young, you've got to be this, you've got to be that, you've got to show up as, la, 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 whatever. And you kind of listen to it, and, you go through this whole life, and then you get to a point, and this was me a few years ago. I just went, what the frick am I doing? Like, I hate this life. It's crap. And literally, like started doing what I really wanted to do. And people are like, wow, I didn't know you could do that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like I call it like coming out of the spiritual closet, So,
Yeah, right. It's exactly
yeah.
that.
And, it's just a matter of like being who you really are. And I just feel like way more authentic now within myself. So it's really cool. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you about like inspiration and ideas. So I know you're a very intuitive kind of soul, and I've talked or seen like a lot of your talks about, how you come up with ideas for things. So I want to talk about that sort of thing. Like, where do you get inspiration from?
Sure.
How do you
So
get it?
I mean, for me, I tend to kind of wait for messages, you know, and I feel like it's from angels, that it's kind of like a divine download.
Mm,
But so there's kind of like one part is the waiting part, but I'm also creating even when I'm waiting. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And just for the sheer joy of it, and because it's blissful to create. And I don't care what medium it is. Like, I'm happy to make podcasts. I love to blog. I love to write. I love to, write fiction, and create e-courses and make art and do art journaling. And it doesn't matter the medium, but what matters is that I create.
Yeah.
Um, and when I do find myself getting like I don't feel like I have any ideas, or I don't feel inspired, then I think about Austin Kleon's advice, and he says problems of output are always problems of input. So what that
Mm,
means is that you haven't looked at enough beauty, you haven't given yourself enough time to even think new things, you haven't read any new books from authors that excite you, you haven't looked at art that makes you tingle inside, you haven't
yeah.
gone on art estates. So it's just kind of this constant balancing of like waiting for the downloads, still creating anyway. And if it's not flowing, then I need to really make sure that I've got good self-care, I'm feeling my well energetically and physically, and I'm feeling that beauty and that spirit well inside me.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And like connecting to that, because I do work a lot with this, like the connecting to, the nature and, your well-being. That's where a lot
Yeah.
of people get blocked and stuck. So it's sometimes just that balance of, left, right brain, analytical, I was an accountant in my previous life. So yeah, I've lived in that whole side for a long time. It's yuck. I've got to tell you. And when you start getting back into that creative side for it, it's just like ideas happen. It's amazing. And that's what I kind of feel like with you, you can sort of see that journey, but when you have that little downtime, you kind of go, okay, I'm down. I'm just going to have a little break. And then you kind of get back up and continue on with the whole exercise. So it's quite cool to watch.
Oh, bless. I mean, and this is the thing, like, anyone who's watched me for enough time will know that there's like, life happens to
Yeah.
me as it does to everybody else. And sometimes it's really big life stuff. But there is kind of big lessons and blessings in there as well. And sometimes my creativity has to go down a completely different path than normal in order to kind of refill my well again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And sometimes you have to take that little break to really just sort of recharge. Um, so I don't know, I'm a big introvert. So for me, sitting in my own space sometimes is what really helps me to kind of move forward.
Big time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's sort of like having solace and solitude can be,
Mm.
well, it always is the biggest thing. I can't think of a time where I've had solace and solitude and go, well, that was unfulfilling. Like, it's
Yeah,
always bloody fulfilling.
yeah, exactly. Like, don't talk to me, don't come near me. I love it. So I want to talk about, I read your little ebook called Ride the Wild Donkey.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so cool. And that, for me, it was a couple of years ago now. It was like my little turning point in life almost, which was so
Oh,
cool. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, and doing your courses and stuff, you just talk about just do it, like just fucking do it. And I
yeah.
just, okay, I'm just going to do it. But that whole thing, it's, you see people like, procrastinating and going, oh, but, it's not the right time or this, that, whatever. And I think that particular Ride the Wild Donkey story is just like such a cool message in life and in business, that you've just got to get on and just get it done. And that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And that there's a huge amount of energy that comes when you have kind of, instead of like taking, saying, oh, I want to write a book in the next 12 months. Well, 99% chance it's not going to get done. But if you go, okay, well, I'm going to get it done in a really short, sharp deadline. So you go, okay, I'm going to give myself, 30 days, 40 days to write it, maybe 2 months if you're being slack.
Yeah.
That it gives you this whole other level of energy and focus.
Yeah.
And when you do finish it as well, you get this huge surge of energy that helps you complete even more things. It's kind of this beautiful self-fulfilling prophecy, and it helps you be even more productive and create even more. So, for example, the erotic novella that I just wrote, I think I took about 10 days to write that. It was such a fun experience.
Yeah.
The original goals workbooks, the My Shining Year ones, they were written in 3 days while I was pregnant. I wrote a really big program called Double Your Business a few years ago, and I was sick with hyperemesis gravidarum, so I was in and out of hospital and vomiting and horrific. But I wrote that, and it was like 40,000 words, and I wrote that in about 30 days between vomits.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. Like, if I'd taken a long time to get it done, it wouldn't have gotten done. But if you do it in those short, sharp bursts, it's a real thrill.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, I think, my takeaway is that if you want to do it, I work with a lot of people that, they say, oh, it's not the right time, or I've got a plan, or I've got to, la, 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 la. And I just think, oh, God, okay. And I know I've done it myself, and, stuff gets in the way. But if you just have that plan of just getting it done. So it's like when I did the course last year in November, and I could see, I was in the Facebook group, and, people were typing, and, there was too many questions, and I was like, it's like too many questions. And I just did the very first one, and it was shit, but that's okay. I got it out there, and I got sign-ups on it, and I was like, yes, I did it. And I'm now on to my 4th one, I think. So it's really good. And that's the whole thing, is you just have to get it done. Like, don't worry about what it looks like or what it feels like, because the first one's always going to be not perfect. But as you progress, it's like little kids walking, like they stumble and they fall and they, you know, it takes time for them to get used to the walking. And that's the same kind of thing, is when you're learning something new, you just have to like continue until you are amazing at it. And you do get there.
It's totally true. And I mean, here's the thing, like the first edition of the workbooks, they don't look anything like what they do now. You know, they looked super handmade,
Yeah.
and a little bit bodgy. But here's the thing, even in their bodginess, they still helped people and they were still deeply useful. And it was the beginning. Like I couldn't have turned up with the product that I have now, 10 years on, 10 editions later. I couldn't have made that first time. You know what I mean? Like it had to be that process, and it was perfect and beautiful that whole way through.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, like I think the people who bought that first edition would have taken the information out of it that they needed right at that time, and it would have been perfectly right for them. And as it progresses, the same thing. So, and, you know, I still look back at some of my old ones and look at the goals and the different things, and, you know, how I've changed businesses sort of since I started. But, you know, some of the goals are still the same. And I think, oh, yeah, I did that, or I did that. Or I reached that goal and, you know, I got to that point. So I think, and some things you didn't do. And I think, oh, okay, well, that's all right. Maybe we'll just bring that forward into the next book. But it's really cool because you do get out of it just what you need just at that right time. I think that's really exciting. So, I mean,
I think that's the beauty of goals. Just, you know, it's why I created the goals workbooks for myself. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll just see if anybody else likes them. And now they've been used by like 400,000 people worldwide, which just blows me away. But it still would have been worth it for me to create them, even just for my own self, to have a rainbow place for me to set my dreams and my goals and reflect on what I wanted from life and what I wanted to create in my business as well. Absolutely life-changing, completely life-changing.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this. When you sort of say, I've sold 400,000 copies of my book, how does it make you feel?
It's a thrill. It also feels a little bit outside of me because my primary relationship is I created the workbooks because that's what I needed to do for myself. I have loved my journey with them in terms of just how much I've grown from using my own books. I created them for myself first and foremost because I couldn't find anything out there that was rainbowy and spirited and creative and a beautiful way for me to set my goals, a lot more feminine than you know, a lot of the black and white masculine stuff I saw out there. So I feel like it's an achievement in itself that I created them for me and that they helped me so much. And the fact that it's gone on to have, like, the workbooks have formed relationships with 400,000 other people and done the same thing for them, I feel deeply honored, but it also doesn't feel particularly like it's my achievement. It's the workbook's achievement. They were the creators that came through. You know, I'm proud of myself, completely proud of myself and thrilled. But it feels like, oh, bless, thank you, idea, for coming through. And I'm glad that I've, you know, concentrated so much on learning how to do business and marketing so I could share them with the world, and then allow them to go ahead and do the work that they need to do in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. And are you going to continue creating those every year?
Oh, big time. Seriously, there'd be mass riots if I stopped. Well, no, riots is the wrong word to use. But yeah, like I would be getting a lot of upset emails in my inbox because for now it's, you know, like the first year they came out, it was like 1,000 people bought them. And then the next year it kind of doubled and then it just kept on growing even more from that. And it's because everybody who uses them once is like, wow, that makes an absolute massive difference to my year. So they don't want to be without them again. And so like it would be really upsetting to a lot of people if I took that tradition away from them because it's so important to their years.
Excellent
and it's
to
important to me. It's very important to me.
Excellent to hear. That's cool. So I want to talk about a little bit about your novel that you wrote recently.
Yes.
I was laughing my head off going, oh my God. And I haven't bought it yet, and I really want to get it and have a read. So
gear up. It'll be the wildest hour of your life.
So tell us a bit, an erotic novella about, I don't even know, called Salt.
Yes.
And you've written it under a pen name, and I can't even think of what that is, and I should have written that before I talked to you. But
it's totally fine. So the pen name is Lola Lee, and it's
Right.
Ligh. It's called Salt.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've been wanting to create for years because I love erotic novellas. I love romance books, absolutely love them. And it's just been in the back of my head for years and years. And I kept on saying to my husband, oh, I really want to write this book. And then I'd talk to mentors and friends, be like, oh, I really want to write a romance novella.
Yeah.
Or a novella is just, it means a short novel.
Short book. Yeah.
And I really want to write something. And all of them like, well, just do that then. And I thought it would be a big deal with my husband. I was like, but it's fine. It's like, I don't care what you do. Just do that. Obviously, you keep talking about it.
Get on that donkey.
Just do it. I mean, this is the thing. I was behaving like other people do to me when they're like, I've got this idea. And I'm like, shut up and go do it. Like, I don't don't talk about your idea to me. That's very boring.
Yeah.
Tell me about it once you've finished the idea.
Yeah.
So basically I annoyed myself enough where I was like, that's it. I'm tired of talking about doing this thing. I could have had it done by this time. And I blocked out, a week and a bit in my calendar and just wrote. And honestly, I cried and cried once I'd finished it because I was so thrilled with myself for having done it.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Thrilled with myself for having taken that creative leap. I mean, it's completely not my brand. It's completely got nothing to do with my business. It's not something that's going to make a huge amount of money, probably. But it was something I needed to do for me to explore that part of myself. And it was a thrill. And then it was also like such a thrill as well when I would get messages from people that was like, that's seriously hot.
Yeah.
My husband loves your book and he's never read it. And it took me a little bit to understand why a husband would love a book so much without having read it. And then I realized, everyone's having sex because of me. Yes. Yes, as a Scorpio, that brings me so much joy to know that I'm inciting more sex in the world.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my God, that is so hilarious. But happy wife, happy life, as they say. So who knows? Who knows?
It thrills me. It thrills me. I mean, also like my friends that go out with me, that they know that I'm always like, go home, show your husband. Like, there's no such thing as a bad orgasm. I'm like, wow. Look, I'm a bit of a party animal. But then I go home and I'm asleep by 9 p.m. You know what I mean? Like that kind of party animal. You go in, you get the early dinners, you behave like,
a crazy person.
Crazy person. And then you drive home, like, because you haven't even drunk anything. Like that's the kind of like person that you'll see at the surf club. That's me. Like just an absolute raver. 7 o'clock at night. Wow! Yeah, okay, everyone. I'm very tired. Good night. I'll go home.
So, love it. That's hilarious.
And so now that kind of wild energy is available to you in novella form.
Yes, awesome. So I'll pop the links in later when I post this video if anybody's interested in having a look at that.
It was hilarious. And I mean, it went to #1 in romance, like in Australia. And I was like, what on earth? But I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. That's too funny. So that'll get me on to my next little topic of people being in overwhelm. Like when you get into that overwhelm mode. So, you're sort of in that and then you just went boom and you did it and it was done and out of the way and, you've successfully made people have sex, which is amazing. So it's all good. So what's your best advice to people when they get into that overwhelm mode?
Yeah.
Oof.
So the thing that I always recommend to people, like if you are just feeling just completely overwhelmed by life and business in general, like everything, I promise you, everything in life could be solved with a piece of paper. Well, nearly everything. No, everything can be. Yeah, no, I'll stand by that.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is just get out a piece of paper and write down absolutely everything that you need to do that's in your head, including like the dog's nearly run out of dog food. I need to send in this enrollment form. I need to like research this. I need to order that. I need to buy that. Like all of the errands, everything, because I find that we as women especially tend to hold a lot of, you know, management ideas in our head
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
our families, and we need to write it down to reduce that overwhelm. And
Yeah.
then all you need to do is get a highlighter out, highlight like the top 3 things that need to be done today, and then just start working, chipping away at it and giving yourself, like with projects that overwhelm you, then again, piece of paper out, write down every single thing that you think you need to do in that project, and then just go through and like you highlight your 3 things, the most important things for today, then cross them off as you go. And wherever you find yourself overwhelmed, that means that you haven't drilled down far enough and you haven't
Yeah.
given yourself those SMART goals, you know, like things that are measurable and realistic, attainable. So if you're saying to yourself, I need to be more creative, that as a goal is going to overwhelm you because you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So you would need to write out, okay, what do I actually want here? So I like when I get to like writing down a goal like that, I'm like, okay, now what would being more creative actually mean? It might mean going to take a creative, like, you know, paint and wine class with friends. It
Mm.
might mean doing a small drawing every single day for a month. It might, and I wouldn't do it for a year because like I flip out with the, like I'm a commitment phobe.
Yeah.
Having been, like, I've been with my husband for 20 years, so obviously not that much of a commitment phobe, but in terms of daily stuff for a long term, about
Yeah.
a month is all I can achieve. So it's having those smaller, those kind of breakdownable tasks where you can
Yeah.
actually go, oh, I actually can just tick that off. I know when I've achieved that, because you're never actually going to achieve get more creative. Like you'll
Yeah.
never go, oh, I've attained that now.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's really that's really cool information, because sometimes, you know, with the people I work with, you know, they say, oh, I'm not creative, or oh, I can't do that, or ooh. And I say, you know, can you hold a pen? They go, yeah. I go, just pick it up and draw a squiggle. And they're like,
Done.
ah, it's like
Small as that.
small as that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's very good advice. Yeah, I love it. And that's the thing, is just like breaking it down into like little tiny chunks.
Yeah.
Keeping it really simple. So even I do art journaling classes with people in my local area, and, you know, I have people come and they're like, oh, we can't draw, we can't paint. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about that. And by the end of it, they're like, what? How did we create that?
Oh, bless.
So cool, because, you know, it's just breaking down those little steps and breaking down those barriers that, you know, they're all in your head, really.
They are.
Most of the time, and we all have it. I do a presentation that is around mindset, and it's called "Does My Bum Look Big in These?" And people go, "What?" And it's talking about other people's opinions of you.
Yeah.
You put onto yourself, basically, and how you can kind of get around that. And it's bringing it down to those little chunks of information that make you think about different things. So, yeah.
Yeah. And also,
Brings all that.
spoiler alert, nobody's even thinking about you.
No,
And
that's like
even if
no one
they are,
cares.
no, but
Yeah, like,
still nobody cares.
can you see my grey hairs?
I can't know.
See? Like, no one cares, right?
And I was so excited. I just found my hairdresser was like, oh my God, you're so cute. I'm like, why? She goes, you've just got like this patch of grey hair. Like it's not threading through. It's actually just like one
Just a
patch of
chunk.
grey. And I was so excited. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't believe I get to experience life in this new way. Like, how
Oh,
cool is that? I mean, all of the shit that we've been told that makes us feel bad about ourselves,
I
guess
know.
what? It's
I
a
know.
construct. It's white supremacy. It's the patriarchy. It's
Oh, yeah.
capitalism at work. And you know what we say to that? It's just like, no, you're
Up you.
fucked. Like,
Exactly.
I have been born to be me, and that is more than enough. That is
That's it.
more than enough. I don't need to change any of this to feel completely radiant in my worthiness and to feel
Yeah.
totally divine. Like, a zebra is not out there wondering, like, oh God, should I like look different from how I am? Should my stripes be different from what they are? Should they be thinner? Should they be wider? I don't know. What's everyone thinking of me? Like, a zebra is out there going, woohoo! Like, sunlight, amazing. Grass, amazing. Live
Yeah.
my dreams, amazing. Like, because a zebra knows its own true worth. Like, we as humans, we're not born to be second guessing ourselves and like, oh my God, what's everyone else thinking?
Yeah.
No, we were born to have that same innate gladness at being who we are and being alive that a fucking zebra has.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I want to get my hair cut right. And I told my son, God love him, he's 21, and he goes, Mum, if you cut your hair, you're going to look like a Karen. And I go, what does that even mean?
A Karen, oh bless.
Started laughing at me, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What does a Karen look like?
A Karen is somebody who asks to speak to their manager.
Yeah, okay. So like I'm fully obsessed with cats, right? And I'm on a few cat pages on Facebook, which I spend a little bit too much time scrolling in because it just makes me laugh. And I actually saw a meme today about a cat with hair like that bob,
yes,
saying, hi, I need to speak to Karen, the manager. And I was just like, oh God, this is killing me.
I think Karen's more of an attitude than a specific look.
Yeah,
And plus,
yeah.
and what you got to do is like you got to have like the really short hair side, this side, and then it sort of tuffles up at the back. It's a very American kind of look. I don't think you're going to pull it off. Like,
Yeah,
so
I don't think so.
you get your bob, darling. You get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's another story for next week when I go to the hairdresser. We'll see how it pans out.
I just like, for me, like I've had hair this short and I've had hair halfway down my back. Like, it's always up and down. It's
Yeah,
been blue. It's been purple. I don't give a shit. It's just hair. Like,
it's
it's a bit
hair.
of fun.
That's what I say. It grows back.
It, that's right. And even if it doesn't, who cares? Like,
Yes,
we're only here once. Like, might as well just do whatever the fuck we want with our
exactly.
own bodies.
Exactly. And that's what I love. I love it. And that's what I like about like how you show up, you know, you just show up as you. And that's what I think it's really cool, because you don't have to be somebody that you're not. And that's where I was just talking earlier about, you know, you see a lot of these coaches and mentors show up and, you know, they've got like this hairdo and the clothes. And I kind of think, is that how you are in real life? I don't know.
I don't know how much more real life I could get.
Yeah.
You know, pajamas,
Yeah.
sitting in bed talking to you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for me as well, like I originally worked for the Australian government
Yes.
in an office environment, and like the whole idea of having a creative business and being able to work for myself was so I didn't have to look like that or pretend to be anything that I wasn't. So why would I go and recreate those exact experiences in my own business? Like, fuck
You
that.
hated. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so that's going to bring me to my next little point of chatting, I guess, is as a creative business owner, because I get this a lot as well, is, you know, people go, oh, that's a nice hobby. And I just think, oh God, like shut the hell up. So I have studied art therapy as well. So I do like incorporate that with my own art, with, you know, mindset stuff and coaching. And I do business advisory as well. So I kind of have a little bit of a few things happening. But, you know, the minute you sort of say you have a creative business, you know, people kind of like, I don't know, they glaze over almost. How do you deal with that sort of thing? Because you've got a very profitable and amazing creative business.
Yeah.
You know, what do you sort of say to people?
I don't give a fuck.
Mm.
Like they're most welcome to think whatever they like.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only times where I've had people be dismissive is men, truth be told.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it just is what it is. And I'm always stunned and surprised. And I'll come home to my husband. I went to a business women's lunch, and it was a business women's lunch. So I was like, cool, this is my crowd.
Yeah.
But all of the husbands of the businesswomen had started to come to these luncheons and then create their own table, like and then like right in the middle of the room, and then just be completely judgy and bitchy, and were very, very they'd come up and give me unsolicited advice at the end, despite me being hugely more successful than them.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this bullshit? And
Yeah.
I was like, no. And, I would just make jokes about it. I'm like, oh, that's great. Oh, like, as soon as you are richer or happier than me, I will 100% take advice from you. Like,
yes.
let's go. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not interested in your advice. And it was weird because I'd go home and I'd say to my husband, I think I just got like patriarchy. Like,
yeah.
I'm not used to this because I have a husband that thinks I'm, the bee's knees.
Amazing.
And like,
yeah.
And he's so protective of me and of women, and if he sees any misogyny happening, he is, he wants to be the guard at the door.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I just like, I don't really put myself in those spaces anyway because it's such a big mismatch for me. And even when they are like that, I'm like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. And I actually said to them, I made fun of all these men during my speech because it was like they were just behaving so badly.
Right.
And I said, guys, I see how you're looking and how you're behaving as I'm speaking here, and I want you to know you're not my target market, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And because you're behaving like this, I'm going to make sure I say vagina even more during the speech, right?
Yeah.
Just turn it on them, call it out for what it is. And also just feel like it's not my business that you're choosing to behave in those ways.
Yeah.
What this is I know who I'm born to serve, and I'm not here to serve like sad middle-aged men who are like,
don't like the word vagina.
That's right, vagina.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know if I really answered your question. That's probably the only experiences where I get that kind of weird energy, and I don't really hang out with them, but when I do, I will make fun of them.
Yeah. And I know, that's cool. I love it. And you've got to love the word vagina, right? Brings me back to a story. My partner's friend came over and stayed with us, and God love him, he's like 50 something, and my family's very open about talking about body parts and using the right words for them. And I don't know, my daughter's, I won't say how old she is, but, I said, you need to go and have a shower and wash your vagina. And he like nearly sank into the floor, and he's like, no, you can't use that word. So it's like a running gag now that every time we talk to him, and my daughter will get on the phone and they call him Vagina Boy.
And he's great. I mean, here's the thing. We live in such a male-centric world, and it's like all of this stuff about women is taboo. And I'm like, no, I don't, I'm not following that. Like, it's not at all. So
yeah.
let's be out and proud.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. And, I've kind of like made my whole family like that. So God love my beautiful son. He's got a long-term girlfriend, and, he'll run through the house going, Mom, do you have any pads?
That is awesome.
Blah, blah, blah. I won't say her name. Has a period. And I'm like, yes, mate, in the cupboard. But I think I'm so happy that I've got a family that is so open to that sort of thing.
Of course.
That it's not, like a hidden topic. And, even in the supermarket the other day, I was with my daughter and I said, I just quietly said, do you need pads? And she goes, no, I don't need pads, at the top of her voice. And I'm like, geez. So it's like, I don't know, it's the most hilarious thing. But I work a lot with the goddess, model, and that whole, just being who you are. And I just feel like, if you can kind of bring men into that fold, it's very exciting. And
it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's where I kind of like, I'm with you, you've just got to find that right tribe that fit with you and your values.
Yeah.
And, the rest can just be kicked to the curb. But
Yeah, it's just like natural attraction or repulsion.
yeah,
And like I mean, I do have male clients and stuff like that, and it's very groovy, and they're also just used to being in a very women-centric world. And I'll say to them, hey guys, like, you're most welcome to be a part of my world, as long as you know this is a very women-centric world. We accept like absolutely zero bullshit behavior.
yeah,
And we talk about life from a woman-centric point of view.
yeah,
And so that might make you feel uncomfortable not being of that gender. And I say to you, welcome to being a woman in a man's world, because this whole world is set up for men.
yeah,
We are immersed in it, so you can enjoy that perspective in this.
yeah,
And so, and those guys are really respectful. They get it, and they're like, yeah, cool, like, this
yeah.
is great for me.
We're with you. So it's time for the turnaround now, right? Where
Yeah.
women rule the world.
Well, even
How
like,
cool would that be?
I'm more excited for just the release of the letting go of the gender binary, so we can be all of
All everything.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
because I like, even though like I find these different energies within the women and male spaces. Um, there's definitely like, I feel like it will be so exciting when we can be every part of ourselves.
just people.
Yeah. And so for me
Mm.
personally, like, the more I learn about the gender binary, I'm like, well, I've never necessarily felt super female anyway. You know what I mean? And I just want to experience every part of my personality that's going to have feminine parts and masculine
Yeah,
parts tied to it. And I want men to be able to experience the same. And I
yeah,
want, trans people to have absolute acceptance and rights, and for it to be very normal for all of us to explore our gender and our sexuality with absolute open minds.
yeah, yeah. That's really cool. And that's the thing, is like it's where like labels just get put on people. Like a girl has to wear a dress and a boy has to wear pants. Like,
Mm.
where is
Yeah.
that written in a rule book?
Yes.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
Yeah.
like, it's so much better for us just to be able to explore exactly what we like as a person
Mm.
instead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's really cool. I love that. It's really good. Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't got any other real like massive big questions to ask you. So
That's because we've nailed it.
we've nailed it. Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground in this. It's been really, really good. So
Uh,
I
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
yeah, I just thank you again for coming on and chatting with me today. And I'll definitely post the video up. Super excited to continue on with the Get Shit Done Club. I can't say it fast for some weird reason. I don't know why.
It is like a slight mouthful. I did have someone like write in to complain like in the start of the year about me swearing, and I was like,
Oh.
sweet Jesus, you are not gonna like what I'm just about to release. Da 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 da, the Get Shit Done Club. Like, she just wasn't my audience at all.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, you're in the wrong place.
whatevs, yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's totally fine. She's totally welcome to have that experience. I'm just never going to be the right teacher for her, because like, I make a lot of jokes that are very offensive with swear words. So it's like the very first episode of my podcast is called Curlews Really Do Sound Like They're Being Butt Fucked.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not me being offensive. That's actually me being scientifically accurate, because if you've lived in a place with curlews, you know exactly how they sound. Do you get curlews in Sydney?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No,
I'm
you
not
don't.
sure.
Unless you've heard a bird that full like curdles kind of screams, then
Yeah.
you don't have curlews. They're more of a tropical
Like
bird,
a,
I think.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. I can't say that I know about them that much, so
Yeah,
probably
no,
not. Yeah.
they're creepy motherfuckers. They really
Yeah,
are.
right. Love it. Makes me laugh. Oh, so funny. Yeah. All right. Cool.
You're a
Well,
champion. Thanks, Sharon.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Leonie. It was like really cool to talk to you, and I'll see you on the inside of all of the stuff that's going on online, I guess.
Yeah, as we
Yeah.
get shit done.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Cool stuff. Have a
Thank you,
great
my love.
afternoon.
You
Okay.
too. Bye.
Bye.